Okay, well, your first question should probably be, why is a priest talking about this? What would a priest know about this? Priests are the ones who don't get married. Well, the answer is, we spend a lot of time talking to people who are married about the difficulties they're having with their marriage, people who are in relationships, people who are thinking about marriage. So you get to know a lot more than you'd think. Not that I'm an expert, but this is sort of a lot of the wisdom of the church and what we're talking about here. Because your question is, uh, I'm having sex with my boyfriend. Is that God's plan for me? Is that what's best for me? And you say that your relationship's pretty healthy in the sense that, we're making love. You're truly making love. That's not just it's not just passion or something that's just driving you into somebody's arms that you don't really care, couldn't really care less about. But that you're actually thinking about getting married and you're very serious about that. And that's wonderful. That you're going that direction because a lot of people aren't there yet. But obviously, you're in a relationship that is temporary. You haven't said yes forever yet. Or let's say provisional. Provisional in the sense that you're looking towards eventually, hopefully, marriage. But it's not love in the full sense yet. Love in the full sense is forever. Love in the full sense, there's no limits on it. And right now there are limits you're putting on it. One of the limits is obviously, for example, birth control. Another of the limits is that, well, things could change. There's an exit strategy, as it were. There's an exit option that's implicit in the relationship you're in. That's just the way things are. You're exploring love more than fully being in love in the deepest sense yet. Now, for that to happen, for that exploration to happen well, you need to be free. You need to be free. So the question becomes, well, is what we're doing really making us fully free? Or is it creating a bond between us that might be blocking us from true freedom? Because you say that you love him so much that you're terrified that he might not be the right person for you in God's plan. That's a good thing to keep asking yourself about. Because one of the things that tends to happen when a relationship becomes sexualized is that things revolve a lot more around the bedroom and not so much about spending time with each other outside of that and really getting to know each other fully. Because you see it all the time where sex blinds people and they just follow the good times they're having together and they think that's everything. And they're not really fully getting to know each other. If you can't spend a lot of time together without ending up in bed, then maybe you're not really liking each other's company so much as each other's, well, the things that attract you to each other, for example. So you say sex has empowered your relationship, and that's definitely true. And at least in one crude sense, it empowers you to have children, obviously, and it's brought you closer, and that's been a spiritual experience, and that you can understand why it's for married people, and that's all good. That's all true, and it's good that you're seeing it that way, because essentially what you're getting is a sort of physical and emotional intimacy as well. But again, what's missing is the personal commitment, and that's what you desire, but it's something that you're not ready for yet. So the church isn't against sex just for the heck of it and because she wants us all to suffer, but really because she wants to protect love. That I love you means fully. I want only you. That I want all that you are. And I'll give myself to you in a gesture with my body that means exactly what it says about it, right? About what else will there be for you after you're married, right? What else will there be to give? So is God present in your acts of lovemaking? Well, sort of, in the sense that he made you for that, and that you're fulfilling in part his plan, in the sense that, yes, that's what men and women do when they love each other. But are you really fully fulfilling his plan for the two of you right now in these circumstances? Well, like you're already recognizing from the text of your question that that's probably not the case, right? So can you roll back the clock in your relationship to a time when it wasn't sexualized? No. Now you know things about him now, and he knows things about you that only the two of you share. There's a bond there that won't go away. But and this is revealing, I think, every couple I've ever dealt with that have made the decision to say, okay, we thought that being in love with each other meant that we could do this, but let's roll back the clock in the sense that we'll go back to just spending a lot of time together without ending up in bed. And it's tough for them at this, especially at the start, and especially for the guy, usually. But none of them regret it. I think that's kind of interesting in the sense that they discover that their relationship really can get a lot richer, and it makes it a lot easier for them to make the right decision and to discover, is this really the person for me? Because again, if the relationship's provisional, that's the question you have to be answering. So, will the priest kick you out of the confessional or decide not to marry you? No, he just wants to help you where you're at. He's not going to condemn you. He's not going to try to demean you at all. Don't worry about that. But he is going to try and lead you down the path that he thinks God's asking you to go down, because ultimately everything we've been talking about, has it been arguments from the Bible or arguments about that God revealed this to me to tell you or anything like that? No, it's just about the way God made us. So God's plan for us is really expressed by what we are and the way we live out that sexual intimacy, right? Or don't live it out in the case of a priest, right? But God's plan for you is expressed in all of that, in all of this, just looking at you and Him and what's best for you. So ultimately, what's the priest looking for? What's best for the two of you? And I'll be praying for both of you, of course. God bless you.